What is good, YouTube, man? So, like, this week has been, an emotional roller coaster for sure. But, we push through and we don't have, like, I never have a bad week. I might have a bad day, but the whole day is not bad. Um, so let me tell you how I kind of bounced back from blowing all five of my accounts this week. So, we ended up on Monday blowing everything, just everything. Went on extreme tilt. And I went on extreme tilt before, but like that was just another day where I was like, I don't care if I blow this whole thing, it's whatever. And I was like, dang, you know what? Yeah, whatever, blase, blase, blase. But, you know, I don't ever have a bad week. Um, so I kind of sat back and thought about it and everything, and what ended up happening is, I have a friend. Um, we'll call him Jay, and I've kind of been looking at some new strategies, trying to learn everything, but he's really helped me because he has a friend. Like everything that I have told y'all with high RR, win rate, trading a little bit less, being able to risk a little bit heavier on A plus setups. He brought to my attention that one of his friends kind of trades exactly how I want to trade, and I was like, "Yo, that's so dope. Let me see. Like, what is it?" So then he kind of showed me like what he looks at, and he brought my attention to Pal Trades. And I've been looking at Pal Trades, strategy, and I've been studying him for a little bit, and I've learned quite a bit. Um, and like I said, I haven't mastered anything because I haven't even used his strategy yet in the real market. But it's it's not. I'm not gonna call it simple now. His friend, my friend Jay, his friend said it was simple. Now this is a little bit more complicated than breakouts, but I can see from an ICT standpoint where this could be simple. And currently, I'm not in a trade, but I am like fake being in a trade. You know what I'm saying? Um, and whether this wins or loses, um, you know, I'm not. I'm just testing it out, seeing what works, and we're at all time highs. So I pretty much think we're gonna keep running up and creating higher highs. But if we were to reverse off of here, this is where it would be, and being strategic and stuff. So with this strategy, we can catch anywhere from a one to, he says he catches one to fours, one to sixes. He said that's kind of his bread and butter, and I understand it. Now where the good part gets, I told y'all on Tuesday I ended up closing another deal with my mom. Um, Ended up being around $4,000, and then I'm splitting it with my coworker because he helped me do it, $2,000, and because we get that up front, and then split it with him, so I get around $1,100 in my bank account tomorrow, and which is great because then I can get rid of my negatives and um get some new trading accounts. Now 500 something is going to be used towards my debt, and then 500 is going to be used towards new accounts. And my mom was like, save this, save that. And to be honest, bro, I'm saving $500. That's not going to get me nowhere. I'm trying to be able to trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to make money. And honestly, I'm in a point right now where I can save money, but that money is not going to go anywhere. Like the money that I'm saving would be for the apartment in January, but I know I can close one deal and make 10K, which is why I'm not trying to save pocket change, right? Because I can go get one account and work off that, but the goal is to be able to not have to, to make decent money. And honestly, if I can have a 70-80% win rate with a 1 to 4, 1 to 6 RR, um, across three accounts, risking 400 per trade to make, let me see, what is that? 400 times 6. That's 2,400 times three accounts on Alpha, $7,000 a day, right? And then we get a payout from there once this strat becomes consistent, and then times this by, that's three accounts, so times, 5 more. Let's just say 2,400 times 8. That's $19,000 a day. You feel me? So, I'm just working on getting, not, well, now I'm gonna have to get a new strategy down, but I'm working on just allocation. And my new thing, or not necessarily my new thing, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my mom's job to fund my apartment and just work on trading on the side. Now, the bad news is, by the way, we just got stopped out of this position. Kind of told y'all we was gonna want to keep going higher, but the bad thing is, um, I wanted to get that money tonight. That way, I could trade in the morning and just like full port CPI, because you know full porting CPI, that's free accounts passed, and I could literally get a payout within the next 2 weeks if I were to do that off of three accounts. Um, but mom got a little bit irritated with me today. She was really tired, and by the time we got home, she didn't want to do all that. So now I'm gonna have to take it slow, and I don't wanna. I don't really. I'm gonna take the rest of the weekend to try to back test this strategy, but I don't really trust it yet. So until I trust it, which honestly, like, if I can win 6 out of 10 trades back testing over now, mind you, that's not, you know, gonna make you profitable if you win 6 out of 10 trades, because the markets are gonna do what the markets want to do, and it's gonna be a little bit different. But you know, I don't like back testing, but I'm gonna back test heavy this weekend and try to back test at least 100 trades with the same confluence, right? And you know, try to feel confident with that setup. That way, I know what I'm looking for next week, and I can hopefully pass these accounts before next week. Because if the profit target is, let's see, if the profit target is 6,000, and I make, let's say, 1 to 5, so 2,000 every day, I could pass the account within 6 days or 3 days if I, took 3 really good trades. And there's no consistency rule, so the cool thing is I don't want to necessarily risk super heavy, um, until I understand the strategy and everything. But I can pass alpha features like this. I just want to be able to adopt this new strategy so I don't have to use breakouts anymore, because I don't really like breakouts. And you know, it's just how it goes. I think this is a little bit more, um what's the word? This is a little bit more reliable. Um, and honestly, I'm still I will still use breakouts in the morning, but I don't know if I want to go for one to twos because with breakouts, you know, they tend and some days are going to be better than others, of course, but they tend to get to the one to ones, one to twos, and then go back to break even and then go back. So what I would rather do is, take those one to two, maybe three trades per week, risk super heavy. And, of course not all of them are gonna play out, but um when I do win, if I'm risking super heavy, let's say on $1,000 or let's say on $100,000 account, instead of risking 400, I go risk 7 because I'm confident, you know, then I do 700 times 5. That's 3,500. Now I'm making times 3. Now I'm making $10,000 a day across 3 accounts. You do that across 5. That's 52,000 divided by 3. 17,000 divided by 2. 8,000 per account times 3. That's $26,000 in payouts. Right? So, I want to get real confident in this strategy and everything, and I'm really gonna dial down on standard deviation. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna use it until um I fully have a grasp on it, because I don't want to, mess up or anything. But same thing how I kind of learn my breakouts. Even though breakouts are kind of quite simple, you have your time zones that you trade, or your time frame that you trade. You have your entry criteria and what you're looking for. So once I get those down, which honestly isn't hard, um, we have liquidity sweeps, rejection blocks, and fib retracement. And honestly, that's what I'll be looking for. But how do I tell, a high probability setup from a weak one? Right? So, how you tell is how many things are stacking up in your favor. Because there's so many confluences. You have fair value gaps, rejection blocks, liquidity sweeps. What else is there? Order blocks, inverse fair value gaps, nigga. They have everything. But what standard deviation allows you to do is top tick with a reason. You feel me? It's not top ticking just because you think it's gonna go down from wherever it's at. You know why the market might reverse from that position. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking for. And yeah. So another good thing that happened this week, and this is why I said I turned it around, on top of the $1,000 I'm finna make tomorrow. Sorry, hold on. Is for the YouTube series that I'm about to start, we have finally officially got a camera. Nigga spent $600 on this little camera, my nigga. But it's a really good camera, so I can't hate. And other than that, man, life is really good. So, I'm gonna take this weekend to really understand standard deviation. And if I don't fully understand what I'm looking for by the end of the weekend, then I will, I'm just gonna be taking base hits on breakouts, because we'll hit one to ones the majority of the time. Like, if you look at this real quick, look, man, on a 5 minute, right? Let's take it from earlier today. we Chop City today? 9. 8. Oh, nah. So look, 8:30. So we had this built up resistance, right? Built up resistance that we kind of touched on NAS. Could have took a long position, risked 25 points. You know, and yeah, we could have, what's it called, but we go base hits. We would have been able to secure, you know, however much I'm risking. So let's say I wanted to risk heavier, you know, we could have secured, you know, $700, or across a 50K, $700 or 500, you know. So yeah, I would say 500 on 50K. Or if we was to take, you know, sales on or a position on US 30, you know, this wick was kind of acting a little crazy. Position wise, this is, we would have probably had a resistance zone sitting above here. We would have pushed, and honestly, let's say we would have entered right here with a 30-point stop, we still would have banged out. You feel me? So risking heavier on one-to-ones if I'm going to take a breakout is honestly what I feel is better, until, you know, I understand standard deviation, and just risking heavier on one-to-ones, because my win rate will be better, rather than, you know, me trying to catch, you know, 1-3s, 1-4s, 1-5s, which, you know, if you see this, we would have hit our one-to-one simple like that. Then we would have retested, got break even, and then it would have ran straight back up. You feel me? So yeah, man. And how, bro, life is just good. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I feel very confident with my breakout setup, risking, you know, going one-to-one and being okay with base hits, because on a live, or not necessarily on a live account, but a, what's it called, on, what am I thinking, on the, you know, express accounts or whatever you want to call them, on these other, you know, accounts, $700 across, you know, let's say, you know, what I'll have next month is 8 accounts, $700 across 8 accounts, $5,000 a day. So once we get past this alpha futures mess, I'll be able to move to instant fundeds, and from there, all I got to do is take payouts on alpha. One payout will pay for Tradeify, Lucid. I seen Lucid day trading prop firm. I don't know much about Lucid, but I seen something about Lucid. I don't know Lucid. I don't know if it's called Lucid trading. Let's see.
Hey everyone, JMU here. I put together a short video going over the new prop firm Lucid Trading. I'll go over there. Lucid Direct, straight to funded.
It's something, you know what I'm talking about, bro. But yeah, man, life's good, life's great. Um, that's the plan. And we're gonna just continue to grind it out, man. So hey, we got the camera. Stay tuned for this this series that's gonna come up.